Welcome to Diverse Orange, our weekly show on Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Today, I am interviewing special guest Vincetta. She is a local poet and author, um, going hand in hand with that. And I'm your host, Alex Moonsay. Um, and today we're going to get to know about Vincetta and her book Metamorphosis. Thanks for being on the show, Vincetta.
Thank you for having me.
So to start off, what's your heritage and have you been in Florida all of your life?
My heritage is I'm half Puerto Rican and half Black. I'm African American, and I've been in Florida since I was 4 years old. So a great majority of my life, I've been in Florida, specifically like Orlando area.
Nice. And before Orlando, where were you?
Yeah, I was born in New Jersey, and so I lived there a couple months that I don't remember. And then we moved to New York, and we lived there a couple years, which I also don't remember. But then I came when I was 4, and I know that because someone told me, because I also don't remember.
So it's been Florida on the mind and in
Mhm.
most of your life.
Mhm.
Um, So in your book Metamorphosis, it is your life's journey. So, um, do you feel like Florida has played a big part in your writing process?
I definitely think so. Just because a great majority of my childhood, I was in Florida, I was in Orlando, and a lot of my experiences and a lot of everyone's experiences are like founded. I'm making up words now. Are like
You're
like
allowed to.
they like create a foundation for your life, your childhood, like for the rest of your life. So Florida, me growing up here, a great majority of my life really did have an impact on me. And even now as an adult, I live here again. It has a great impact on me, whether it's like the people, whether it's the weather, whether it's the energy. It definitely shaped me and continues to shape me.
And I think you said, or when did you start writing this book? And it was published quite recently, right?
Mhm. Yeah. I started writing some of the poems in like 2015-ish. And when I was writing the book, I didn't know I was gonna like it was gonna be in the book. I just was writing because like since I was younger, it's been a good way for me to express myself and to come to terms with my experience in a healthy way. And so I've been writing like poetry and journaling for a good majority of my life. But when I look back on some of the poems and like what year I was writing them, they were like in 2015 and then up to 2021. So it's like a compilation of poems over the years, like mixed into this book.
And during the book, you were also going, you were in another city or something like
Mhm,
that?
mhm. Yeah, 2015 and 2015 to basically like 2019 or 2018, I was living like in Chicago and in Fort Lauderdale, like kind of back and forth because of the program I was in for work. It was like rotational. So I would like go be in Chicago for 1 year, then go to Fort Lauderdale and go back to Chicago for another year. So some of the poems were written during that time when I was like in those two cities as well.
And then you found yourself back in Orlando.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
what called you back here?
Life, honestly, I didn't plan to come back home. Like that wasn't in my plans like at all. But I was like after the program I was in, I decided to like because it was like a rotational program, and then after the program was done, you applied for like a job in the company, and like I got this job, but I didn't really feel like it like aligned with me. And at the time, I was like I had this small business with a group of two college friends. It was like a media business, and so at the time I decided to like quit and not take that position and just move to Fort Lauderdale where the other two people were and just focus on the business. And then I did that for a couple months, and then it just didn't align like where the future of where we saw the business going. It wasn't aligned with everyone in the group. And so then basically I we had to like dissolve the business. And I was like, oops, what did I do? I just like declined this job offer, I moved over here, and now this is not working out. And so I was like freaking out a little bit, but then I was like, okay, I know people, I can text people, I can figure this out. And I ended up texting um Reginald. He actually like lives in Orlando and works in Orlando. And I was like, hey, do you know of anything? Like I really need a job, blah, blah, blah. And he knew of a position at the city of Orlando. And so that's when I came back and I worked in City Orlando, and that's how it happened. It just like happened. I didn't really like plan to come back, but life was like, you're gonna come back.
Life and destiny said, "Come back to Orlando."
Mhm.
Um, so this literal journey around the US and then back to Orlando, and
Mhm.
in writing your poetry, did you feel like um that became like a part of your culture and contributing to the poems?
Hmm. For sure. I even have poems, like a few I can think of off the top of my head that like are inspired by like Florida and are inspired by just me reflecting on my journey and having went all these places and then coming back here to this place. And if you read the book, there's like a poem that's very like inspired by what I'm about to say. It's like I didn't have like a really like amazing love filled childhood all the time. You know, went through traumatic experiences, and I just think it's really ironic that life brought me back to the same place that kind of held all these memories for me, and it's like now heal them, you know. So I think that's really ironic and it's really beautiful. So yeah, I feel like I'm gonna cry. But yeah, so
Oh, please, please, feel free to. It is okay to cry. I am a firm believer in releasing your emotions, and I'm glad that you were able to express yourself through the book, and now you get to share your experience with us. I
mhm,
remember in the book, I was reading a poem about how you used to go by your middle name, Ashley, but then you decided that Vincetta, your first name, was the name that you wanted to go by, and you accepted that. What was that like?
mhm. Um, for me as a child, like my mom, and I know some other people's parents do this too, and I don't know why, but she like called us by our middle name. So I was just really used to being called Ashley for like a good majority of my younger life. And then when I started going to school, they would call me like Vincetta, and I would just be like, what the heck? And then kids would just like be like, being kids can be mean sometimes. And then they were just like making fun of me. And I just was like, oh no, like I don't like this. And it just caused a lot of friction within myself, just because even at that time, I think you begin to like create this identity of yourself and see all of these parts of you that make you similar to people but also make you different to people. And I just know at that time in my life too, I was dealing with a lot of like internal conflict around like my race, and like because like my family, everyone in my family, my immediate family at least that I was raised with, is like Puerto Rican, and I'm like the only person that's mixed with black and has like darker skin. And so around that time I was dealing with a lot of like identity issues around that, and like feeling like other already and like trying to make sense of it, and then like going to school and then having to deal with that other layer of like other and like feeling like other was just a lot for me. I think as a young kid, and like not talking about it with anybody. And so that caused like a lot of conflict within me. And then I eventually came to this point within myself, like years later, like maybe like around middle school time, where I was just like, this is my freaking name. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is who I am. And I just need to like embrace it, like, and understand, like, this is who I am. Like, yes, I'm mixed with black. I'm the only person in my immediate family that's mixed with black. That doesn't make me anything other, or my name being Vincetta, or doesn't make me anything other. And I had to come to these like terms within myself um, at like this young age. But I do remember it being like a huge like internal conflict for me when I was younger.
Well, I'm glad that you have embraced your name and decided that it doesn't matter what the other kids say, and
Mhm.
now you are using it, also as your artist name, and I think it is a lovely name. Um, and
Thank you.
so being in Orlando and have you felt like other Orlandoans have um welcomed you and uplifted you in your life living here?
Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. Like, yeah, like growing up here, so many like friends that I made, like, and I think like I have poems about this in the book too, like just me going through these experiences, like these traumatic experiences, like my friends, like, and even strangers sometimes were really like the saving grace for me. Cause I realized like as I'm talking, like a lot of my experiences, like I deal with like internally, and I don't really like deal with it with other people. And so I would deal with a lot of these really heavy things within myself. And my friends and sometimes strangers would just be this beautiful like energy that I needed to like push through some of these things. And even like more recently, as I'm still living and learning, and healing every day, um, like having friends that are like supportive and like understanding of you and like non-judgmental and just want to like give you love and be there for you, I think is really beautiful. And I'm gonna cry with that. So yeah.
Oh, yes. Well, thank you for being here. And uh, so I think you had a book release at Banks a couple months ago, but where can we find your book?
Yeah, for sure. You can find them either at Spiral or at Bank. Spiral's like on Mills. I don't know what's actually on Thornton, but it's like in the Mills area. And then Binks is downtown off of Church Street. And then if you're not in Orlando or you don't feel like getting up, you can order it off of my website. And then it'll link directly to Amazon. And then you can have it shipped to your front door.
Amazing. We love online shopping. Well, also, I don't know if you have been to Fusion Fest yet or if you've seen our spoken word program that we host there at the festival, but I think it would be great to have you recite some of your poetry on stage next to the other poets and storytellers.
I would love that. I would love that.
Oh, I think applications open in April, so everyone stay tuned.
Okay.
Yes. Well, thank you for coming on to Diverse Orange, Vincetta. It was lovely having you, and I look forward to working with you more. Everybody, please pick up your copy of Metamorphosis. Binks is a really good coffee shop too, and it's also a good excuse to go out to Spiral. I always feel good when I go out there.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. See you next Tuesday.
Thank you.